The shocking truth, Maid's epic discovery of her hotel's secret owner at midnight. The clock struck midnight, reverberating through the empty hallways of the old Evergreen Hotel. Shadows danced along the walls, and the air pulsed with a stillness that felt charged, almost electric. Rita, a weary maid who'd spent 5 years cleaning the remnants of other people's lives, felt something shift that night. She grabbed her cart, but dread locked her feet in place as a flicker of movement in the corner of her eye drew her attention. What she saw made her heart pound. A figure slipped past a closed door, cloaked in darkness, heart racing in sync with her breath. As she crept closer, the hotel seemed to sigh around her, creaky boards protesting beneath her weight. Curious whispers floated in her mind, stories of eccentric owners and long-lost treasures buried in the hotel's history. It wasn't just the dust that clung to the furniture, it was the weight of secrets. The stories of guests who never checked out, who vanished into thin air. Eyes as watchful as owls had grown heavy-lidded from years of boredom, but now, those eyes snapped wide open. Rita felt as if they were all watching her, urging her forward. She reached the door where the shadow had disappeared. With her heart pounding like a drum, she slowly pushed it open. The room was empty, except for a glimmer of something on the floor, a golden key. Its surface glinted in the dim light, each facet sharp and inviting. "What door do you unlock?" she whispered to the stillness. The hairs on her arms stood up. As she picked it up, another presence crept in. The faint sound of footsteps echoed from down the hallway. Who was it? An intruder? The owner? She tried to tell herself to breathe. She had to know, she had to follow. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The footsteps grew louder. Rita's heart thudded painfully against her chest. With one last look at the key, she raced down the dark corridor, the shadows curling in her wake. Each door she passed felt like a promise whispered in the night. Who did the key belong to, and what secrets lay beyond the door it did unlock? As the footsteps drew closer, panic surged through her. She had to uncover the truth, had to find out who the secret owner of the hotel truly was. What would happen if she failed? Would she also vanish? In that moment, she rounded the corner, breath quickening. A figure came into view, shrouded and mysterious, just beyond the next doorway. Would she dare to find out more? Each heartbeat whispered one thing: tonight changed everything. What lay ahead was an adventure she never asked for, but one she couldn't ignore. The figure turned slightly, the dim light catching their features just enough for Rita to see the glint of cold eyes, sharp and predatory. They were watching her, sizing her up like a cat plays with a mouse before the kill. For a split second, her curiosity battled with her instinct to flee, but the golden key felt heavy in her palm, a weight anchoring her resolve. "Who are you?" she called out, trying to project confidence through the terror that snaked around her throat. The figure stepped forward, revealing a face shrouded in mystery but lined with familiarity. It was Mr. Everett, the rumored owner of the hotel, a man whose existence had been the stuff of legends amongst the staff. Dressed in shadows, he seemed more ghost than man, his presence twisting the air around him. "Curiosity killed the cat, you know," he replied, his voice a low rasp that sent chills skittering down her spine. But satisfaction brought it back. Rita didn't respond. Her mind raced. What did he mean? Was he aware of her discovery? "You found my key," he continued, a sly smile crawling across his lips. "Not many know of its existence. Why would you keep secrets in a place so full of them?" She shot back, her bravery surprising even herself. "What's behind the door it opens?" He chuckled softly, the sound creeping over her like 1,000 cold fingers. A door holds just as many secrets as those who possess the key to it. But you seem very interested in what lies beyond. In that moment, something sharp pricked at her. The stories of lost guests flooded her mind again, the ones who vanished without a trace, rumored to have found themselves on the wrong side of the hotel's mysteries. Rita swallowed hard, understanding the unspoken threat hidden beneath his words. "What do you want from me?" she demanded, taking a step back. "Nothing that you're not already seeking," Mr. Everett said, stepping closer, the shadows tightening around him like a cloak. "If you want to know the truth of Evergreen, then perhaps it's time for you to step through that door, but be warned, not all secrets are meant to be uncovered." Rita's heart raced again, the urgency pushing her to act before logic could catch up with her fear. She glanced behind her, the path she'd taken already fading into darkness. What lay ahead? That golden key felt like it was burning a hole in her pocket. "Why should I trust you?" she challenged. "Trust?" He laughed, dark and low. "Do we ever truly trust anyone in this world? We simply choose whom to fear less." With a sudden surge of courage, Rita grasped the key tightly and took a steadier breath. "Tell me what's behind the door, or I won't let you manipulate me anymore." His smile faded, replaced with a flicker of genuine intrigue. "Very well, but prepare yourself. For some truths can change more than just a night at the Evergreen. They can unravel the fabric of who you think you are." The air grew thick as Mr. Everett gestured subtly towards the door behind him, and Rita's pulse quickened in anticipation. Would she have the courage to face the truths waiting for her? As she raised the gleaming key to the lock, a sudden crash echoed through the hotel, shaking the very foundation beneath her feet. Footsteps thundered down the hall, heavy and insistent, closing in fast. "Someone's coming," she gasped, panic flooding her once steady resolve. "Time is short," Mr. Everett hissed, urgency imbued in his tone. "You must decide, will you risk it all, or will you turn back now?" Rita stood frozen at the threshold of the unknown, the weight of choice heavy in the air. What would she choose? And when the dust settled, would she still be herself, or just another lost guest in the story of the Evergreen Hotel? Rita's mind raced, panic wrapping around her thoughts like a vice. The heavy footsteps pounding against the hotel floor echoed ominously, each boom intensifying the urgency of the moment. Was it too late to turn back? A chill crawled down her spine, the idea of confronting whatever lay behind that door pulling her deeper into the unknown. "Make your choice," Mr. Everett urged, his voice slicing through the tension. The playful glint in his eyes was gone, replaced by something darker. Against the chaos of her racing heart, she felt the golden key grow warm in her hand. Trust or fear? Her instincts screamed to flee, but a deeper part of her craved to confront the enigma of the Evergreen. The footsteps were closer now, the sound a growing storm. A voice floated down the hall, familiar and chilling. "Rita." It called her name with a chilling familiarity. A flash of horror crossed her face. It was Mia, the hotel's head maid, rumored to have gone missing a few months back. Her disappearance had left the staff uneasy. Was she back? Or had she, too, succumbed to the greed of this haunted hotel? "An open door may deliver you from danger or into it," Mr. Everett intoned, his expression unreadable, deliberately emphasizing his words to weave doubt into her decision-making. "Rita!" Mia's voice shouted again, panic spilling over like a broken dam. "Get away from him." "Don't trust." The crash of heavy footsteps interrupted her. The air thickened, charged with anticipation. Without thinking, Rita swung her body toward the door, jamming the golden key into the lock with trembling fingers. "Wait!" Mr. Everett's command sliced through the commotion, but the lock clicked, and the door creaked open, revealing a dim, flickering room behind it. Shadows danced on the walls like whispers, calling for her to enter. In that split second, Rita made her choice. She stepped through the door, drawn in by the promise of truth even as dread clawed at her insides. The darkness enveloped her, and she gasped as the door slammed shut behind her, cutting off the outside world. Rita. Mia's frantic calls faded into a thudding silence, and suddenly, she felt utterly alone. The room was small, the air stale and cool against her skin. A single flickering bulb cast eerie shadows on the walls, illuminating dust motes swirling like trapped spirits. Old wooden crates were stacked in the corner, their surfaces covered in thick cobwebs. What had once been a storage area felt more like a tomb to buried secrets, and then, from behind one of the crates, there came a soft whimper. Rita's heart pounded in her chest, fear coiling tighter with each beat as she approached slowly. "Help me." The voice was weak, trembling, definitely human. But the faint sound gave her pause, a clawing sense of dread flowering in her chest as she recognized it. "Mia." She breathed, straining to see the source of the voice. Out of the shadows emerged Mia, disheveled and ghostly pale, eyes wide and glistening. "You shouldn't have come here, Rita. He's trapped us both." Before Rita could respond, the air changed, charged with an electric jolt. From behind them, the door rattled violently, and the unmistakable laughter of Mr. Everett echoed through the tiny space. A deep, unsettling glee radiated from the other side, chilling her to her core. "This is only the beginning," he taunted, his voice dripping with malice. "You've opened Pandora's box, dear Rita, and I hope you know some secrets don't want to be uncovered." Rita exchanged a frantic look with Mia. What had she stepped into? Would they discover the truth, or would the secrets of the evergreen claim them both? The room began to tremble. Crates toppled, shadows deepened, and the laughter grew louder, the sound morphing into a terrifying symphony of chaos as the darkness closed in around them. Desperation clawed at her. "We need to get out. Now." But the very walls seemed to whisper back, drowning her words in their sinister melody. The door, the promise of escape, felt a million miles away. As the shadows thickened, Rita realized they were not alone, and the true nature of their peril was just beginning to awaken. What dark secrets awaited them next? Rita felt the walls pulse around her, an eerie heartbeat echoing the tempo of her racing pulse. The shadows moved with a life of their own, whispering in a language that sent shivers down her spine. Mia's wide eyes reflected back the same terror that knotted in Rita's gut. "Rita, listen to me." Mia's voice was urgent, shaking as she stepped closer. "There's more here than you realize. The Evergreen isn't just a hotel." The heavy door trembled again, rattling against the frame. They had to move fast. Rita's instincts kicked in. "What do you mean? What's happening here?" Mia's face was strained, and Rita could almost see the memories swirling in her gaze: fear, betrayal, and something darker that would surely haunt her for life. "He's been using us," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Guests have gone missing. The stories, they're real. He feeds off of our souls, our fears." Rita's heart dropped. Feed? It was almost too horrid to grasp. But why us? What is he getting from it? Mia opened her mouth to respond, but a loud crash echoed from the other side of the door, interrupting them. The laughter stopped abruptly, and a low, angry growl took its place. It was a sound that reverberated deep within Rita's chest, a primal warning that something was dangerously wrong. Mia grabbed Rita's arm, urgency sparking in her touch. "We need to find a way out. He'll come for us." Rita's heart raced as she glanced back at the door, knowing the danger lurking behind it. But how? The door's our only way. Those crates, Mia pointed towards the stacked wood in the corner. They might hide something. Help me. Together, they rushed to the crates, fear fueling their speed. Rita grasped a splintered edge, pulling it aside with all her strength. Dust flew into the air, choking her as she revealed a small, dark hole behind it. A musty scent drifted out, mixing with the stale air, something ancient, something forgotten. "What is that?" Rita asked, her voice shaking. "A way out, I hope," Mia replied, pushing further to clear a path. They both crawled forward on their hands and knees, urgency pushing them through the dark space. The passage was tight, and the darkness swallowed them whole as they crawled deeper into the unknown. With every inch, the air turned colder, and an unsettling sense of displacement loomed over them. Shadows loomed like whispers. Just when they thought they might finally reach safety, the walls began to vibrate ominously. A voice boomed through the passage, low and sinister, richer than the laughter they had heard before. "You think you can escape? You've only unveiled part of my game." Rita felt her breath hitch. What does he want? She glanced at Mia, who was pale and trembling, unable to provide answers. Suddenly, the walls around them started to pulse, sparks of energy crackling against her skin. "We need to move faster," Rita urged, pushing ahead, but as they crawled deeper, the passage narrowed painfully, squeezing against their shoulders. Panic set in. Each moment felt like an eternity, and behind them, the vibrations only grew. "Rita, I can't breathe," Mia cried, her voice filled with fear. "Just a little more," Rita begged, pushing forward, her heart pounding fiercely as she felt the shadow stalking them from behind, relentlessly hungry. Then, just when hope seemed gone, they burst into a cavernous room filled with flickering torches and strange symbols carved into the stone walls, illuminating the darkness in an uneasy dance. "What is this place?" Rita whispered, fear smothering her. Before Mia could answer, the whispers surged louder, wrapping around them like chains. And then, a figure emerged from the shadows, not Mr. Everett but another presence, an older woman with piercing green eyes. "Welcome, dear guests, I've been waiting for you," she murmured, her voice both inviting and menacing. Rita gripped Mia's hand, both terrified and intrigued. What secrets did this woman hold? What twisted truth lay before them? In that moment, a single question hung in the air like a noose: would they uncover the hidden truths of the evergreen, or become the next victims of its dark legacy? The answer loomed just out of reach, but one thing was clear: their journey had only just begun. The woman stepped closer, her presence commanding and unsettling. Rita could see the fine lines etched into her skin, like spider webs catching the light of the torches. "I am Esme," she announced, her voice smooth yet chilling. "Caretaker of the evergreen, and you are part of its story now." Rita's mind raced. "What do you mean, part of its story?" She could barely find her voice, her throat constricting with fear. Esme glanced at Mia, a brief flicker of recognition crossing her face. "Ah, the brave one who dared to unravel the threads. You should know that curiosity often comes with a price." Mia shivered, drawing closer to Rita, who felt the icy grip of dread compress around her heart. "What price?" Mia demanded, her voice steadier than before. The walls seemed to tighten around them, as if the very structure of the hotel was leaning in to listen. Esme smiled, but her eyes held no kindness. "You seek freedom, yet this place thrives on fear and despair. Many have tried to escape. Only a few have succeeded." Her gaze turned sharp as she surveyed them. "You think running away will save you? No, my dears, to conquer the evergreen, you must confront it, not flee." Rita felt the weight of those words sink in. This was not just a game, it was a battle for survival. "Then tell us how," she exclaimed, the urgency boiling in her chest. "What do we have to do?" The older woman extended her hand, revealing a pendant, a small, intricately carved key made of obsidian. "This is the key to your escape, but it also unlocks the true power of the evergreen. You must decide, will you use it to flee, or will you face the horror lurking within?" Mia's eyes widened. "What's inside? What are we dealing with?" "Your greatest fears, desires, and the truth of this hotel's history," Esme replied, her voice dropping to a whisper. "You must confront the very essence of what you run from. Only then can you hope to break the cycle." Rita felt lightheaded, overwhelmed by the implications. Could they really confront what lay beneath the surface? Was it worth risking everything for a chance at freedom? "In the labyrinth of this hotel lies a room," Esme continued, "a room where the spirits of those consumed reside. You will need courage to enter, and if you're unprepared the consequences will be dire. Why are you telling us this? Rita asked, suspicion tightening her chest. What do you gain from our suffering? Esme paused, a shadow flickering across her face. There are forces at work beyond even my own control. My bond to this place binds me to you. I help you, and perhaps I can find some semblance of release. Mia took a deep breath, stepping forward. We'll face whatever's in that room. There's no way we're staying here to be its prey. Esme nodded solemnly. Then the time has come. Follow me. They moved deeper into the cavern, the torchlight flickering wildly as if it sensed the rising tension. Rita felt a cold tugging sensation, as if the shadows themselves were reaching out. Each step echoed with dread. What awaited them? And what dark secrets would they uncover? As they approached a heavy iron door at the far side, inscribed with runes that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat, Rita hesitated. This is it, isn't it? She whispered. Esme turned, her expression unreadable. Only you can unlock it. She held out the obsidian key, darkness swirling mysteriously around it. Would they unlock a path to freedom or unleash something far worse? With trembling hands, Rita reached out. What lay beyond that door would change everything. Would they be ready to face the darkness that awaited them? Or would it swallow them whole? Rita's fingers brushed the obsidian key, its cold surface sending a shiver down her spine. The moment felt monumental, a collision of dread and anticipation. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for what lay beyond. Esme's unwavering gaze bore into her, unyielding and filled with a weight she couldn't fully comprehend. Do it, Mia urged, her voice trembling with both fear and determination. We can't turn back now. Rita nodded, feeling the urgency, the need to break this cycle that held them captive. She angled the key toward the iron door, its jagged edges cutting into her palm. As the key slid into the lock, a surge of energy pulsed through her, electrifying yet terrifying. With a deep breath, she turned the key, the door creaked open, groaning loudly as if protesting against the interruption of its slumber. An overwhelming gust of air rushed out, carrying scents of mildew, dampness, and something ancient. It clawed at their senses, biting into their skin like shards of ice. A dim glow illuminated the interior of the room beyond, flickering as if hesitant to fully reveal itself. Shadows danced unpredictably across the walls, making shapes that twisted and morphed, while whispered echoes began to fill the space. Fragments of sorrow and rage trapped within the confines of the hotel. Stay close, Rita whispered, gripping Mia's arm tightly. They stepped inside, the door shutting behind them with an ominous thud. Instantly, the light seemed to dim further, drawing them deeper into a world of uncertainty. The room was vast, expansive enough to unsettle. Stones lined the walls, cold and unyielding, adorned with faded portraits of faces that seemed to watch them, their expressions sorrowful yet accusing. It felt like they had crossed into a different realm, one governed by rules that twisted the very fabric of reality. Where are the spirits? Mia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know, Rita replied, scanning the room. Heart pounding in her chest, an unsettling feeling washed over her. It was as if the room itself was alive, aware of their presence. Suddenly, the glow intensified, revealing a large mirror at the far end. Its surface shimmered, undulating like water disturbed by a pebble thrown into a pond. Look! Mia pointed, urging Rita to step forward with her. They made their way to the mirror, feeling as if it drew them closer with an unyielding pull. Suddenly, images began to swirl within the reflective surface, flashes of the hotel's past, joyous moments, heart-wrenching despair, and shadowy figures that moved in and out of focus. They gasped as they saw their own reflections twisted, distorted into grotesque shapes mirroring their fears. What are we looking at? Mia exclaimed, pulling back, but Rita couldn't tear her gaze away. Every fear she'd ever harbored clawed at her mind, the regrets, the failures that haunted her. This is our truth, Rita murmured. This is what we have to face. Yet, the whispers grew louder, a cacophony of torment that threatened to drown them. You shouldn't have come. You cannot escape. They warned, each voice laced with bitterness. In a panic, Rita turned to Esme, who stood against the wall, her expression unreadable. Help us. She called out, desperation lacing her words. Esme stepped forward, her presence suddenly commanding. You have to confront what you see. Only by accepting these shadows can you hope to overcome them. Otherwise the warning hung heavy in the air. Rita felt the weight of dread settle deep within her. Could she truly face her fears, or would the past consume her? As the room began to shift, presenting new horrors, Rita grasped Mia's hand tighter. We can do this. Together. But just as they prepared to confront the swirling chaos in the mirror, a heavy hand pressed against Rita's shoulder. She turned, heart racing, to find a figure cloaked in darkness standing behind her. It loomed, a specter of every nightmare she had ever known. What did it want? And would they have the strength to face it, or would they falter and be lost forever? Rita's breath caught in her throat as she spun to face the cloaked figure, her heart pounding like a drum in her ears. The shadows clung to it, swirling like smoke, obscuring any glimpse of a face. This was no simple apparition, it was something more profound, more menacing. Mia stepped back, fear etched on her features. Rita, it knows us, she stammered. The words hung in the air, laced with the terror of realization. What do you want? Rita managed to squeeze out, her voice trembling against the weight of the unknown. The figure didn't speak but extended a gloved hand, pointing directly at the mirror. The shards of past and pain within seemed to ripple with new energy, pulsating in rhythm with the cold air that filled the room. The whispers escalated, now a wailing chorus that gnawed at their sanity, echoing their most intimate fears. Esme stepped forward, her presence no longer just commanding, but protective. It's a manifestation of your deepest fears, Rita. You must face it, only then can you hope to break free. The cloaked figure loomed closer, and something shifted within Rita. She felt a strange familiarity, a connection that twisted her gut. Digging deep into her memory, she recalled the stories, the haunting tales of the hotel's past that had been whispered in dark corners. Could this shadow be linked to them? Images began to flash alongside the swirling scenes in the mirror, her childhood fears, moments of betrayal, and the darkness that ignited her self-doubt. It was overwhelming. The air felt electric, buzzing with chaos as her past danced before her eyes. Rita, don't. Mia grasped her hand tighter, a lifeline amid the tempest of emotion. You don't have to do this. But fear turned into fire, igniting a defiance within her. This was her life, her journey, and she could no longer allow the shadows to dictate her path. I have to face it, she whispered. I have to confront what has been hidden. With newfound resolve, Rita stepped forward into the darkness, forcing the hooded specter to retreat slightly. She could almost see the face beneath the shadow, though it shifted, morphed, eluding her grasp. Show me. She shouted. Show me the truth. The figure hesitated, and the mirror's reflection began to morph again, unveiling grotesque images of betrayal. She recognized faces, friends, family, moments she thought she buried deep. The energy in the room shifted, it pulsed with recognition, sorrow, and anger. As Rita delved into the memory, the figure's hand gestured for her to step closer to the mirror. No, she gasped, panic flooding her, but the pull became irresistible. Visions erupted around her, a storm of memories that weren't purely hers. The cries of others echoed in her mind, each one begging for acknowledgement, for resolution. You can't run from this, the whispers warned, intertwining with her thoughts. What do you mean? She cried out, feeling unmoored, struggling against a tide of revelation. Then it struck her like a bolt of lightning. You're the keeper of their secrets. Rita realized, a wave of horror washing over her. You're the reason they're trapped. The figure shifted, revealing a flicker of a smile that sent icy dread racing down her spine. You're smarter than I anticipated, it murmured, voice echoing like thunder. Suddenly, everything around them began to tremble. The room vibrated with long-held tensions, the walls whispering secrets that had lain dormant for too long. Each heartbeat seemed to unearth layers of despair. "Rita!" Mia screamed, pulling her back. "We have to run." But it was too late. The mirror shattered, sending shards flying like daggers, and the spirit's laughter swelled, echoing off the stone walls. As Rita stood frozen in horror, seething determination grappling with dread, a rumble shook the floor beneath them, and the cloaked figure advanced, its form shifting like a sinister wave ready to crash. What awaited them behind the veil of shattered glass? And could they truly escape the darkness that threatened to consume them? Rita's heart raced as the cloaked figure surged forward, its presence like a storm ready to unleash chaos. The shattered mirror lay at their feet, gleaming shards mirroring their fear-stricken faces. Each piece was a terrifying reminder of what was unfolding, distorted reflections whispering dreadful secrets. Mia's grip tightened around Rita's wrist, but it felt weaker, almost like she was slipping away. "Rita, we need to get out." Her voice, a strained whisper, barely broke through the cacophony of the figure's twisted laughter. "No!" Rita cried, urgency igniting her spirit. "I can't run from this." She could feel the energy of the room shift, patterns of despair intertwining with determination. The figure paused, its laughter dissolving into an eerie silence that washed over them. It loomed closer, and for a brief moment, the shadows thinned. Rita saw something there, glimpses of familiar faces twisted with anguish and regret. Each of them had a story whispered in the hallways, trapped by the very essence of the hotel. "How many of you?" Rita's voice trembled as the words escaped her lips. "How many are suffering because of me?" She sensed their pain was connected, tied in ways she had yet to understand. "Enough." The figure's voice sliced through the stillness, sharp as glass. "They cannot be released while you hide from the truth." With a sudden surge, Rita stepped closer, forgetting her fear for a heartbeat. "What truth? What do you want from me?" The specter moved fluidly, shadows wrapping around it like a cloak. "Be the key to the memories. Unravel the chain binding them." I don't know how." Panic shot through her, but as she spoke, the energy around her flared, igniting a flicker of hope. Maybe this was her chance. "Tell me how to set them free." "Face your own reflection," it whispered, the words swirling like mist around her. "Only through acceptance can the bonds be broken." Mia's voice trembled. "Rita, remember who you are. You can't give in. Don't let it manipulate you." But Rita was losing herself somewhere between resolve and despair. The hotel and the people it had trapped had become part of her reality. Memories hung like ghosts, begging her to acknowledge the truths she had long buried. Taking a breath, she reached inward, searching for the core of her fears, the fear of abandonment, of incomprehensible loss. The memories crashed around her, flashes of laughter followed by screams, faces she had wronged, pleas for help that she had turned a blind eye to. The chaos bubbled to the surface, choking her voice. I acknowledge you. I want to hide." The figure twitched, shadows swirling with agitation. "Acknowledge but do not absorb. Be the clarity in the darkness." Rita felt an overwhelming surge of emotion. Acceptance, guilt, and pain rolled within her like storm clouds, and she clung to that feeling like a lifeline. "I'm not ashamed of my past, it's part of me. And I can make it right." The figure seemed to pause, the shadows curling back slightly as if evaluating her sincerity. A strange calm descended around them. And then, in an instant, the room quaked again, and the air throbbed with energy. "You must choose, Rita," the figure's voice droned with an ominous weight. "Heal the broken or become forevermore a prisoner." In that moment, the walls echoed with the cries of lost souls, and the shadows lengthened, closing in, their faces bobbing in distress. "Rita!" Mia shouted, but she felt time suspend as the weight of the choice settled over her like a heavy veil. Would she be able to wield the power of acceptance, or would the darkness claim her? And more importantly, how would she face the looming decision that tethered her soul to the mansion's haunted past? The room shuddered, rippling with energy, as Rita's heart pounded in her chest, echoing a battle cry. Fear washed over her, but with it came an unmistakable surge of courage she never knew she held. She had lived in the shadow of her choices for so long, but now she was at the precipice she had to decide. Rita. Mia's voice pierced through the deafening noise of the figure's murmurs. It was a lifeline, a reminder that she wasn't alone, not entirely. But Mia's presence felt fragile against the weight of the lurking shadows. Each flicker of light in the room began to dim, as if the very air was charged with an impending reckoning. Choose. The figure hissed, its voice slithering through the air like smoke. You can end this or let it devour you. What will it be? Taking a deep breath, Rita confronted the figure, the fear clawing at her chest. I choose to face my past. I won't let their suffering continue. The response sent a shockwave through the hotel, resonating with the pain of countless souls. The shadows went still, and she felt the intensity of their collective gaze shift towards her, each face a mirror of her own torment. Acceptance is the path to healing, the figure responded, almost contemplatively, the shadows curling closer as if intrigued. But are you ready to embrace the darkness in you? Rita's fists clenched, determination flooding her veins. If that's what it takes to set them free, then yes. I will face every part of myself. The atmosphere thickened, wrapping around her like a heavy blanket. The room began to spin, and memories flooded back, faded images of laughter in hallways and the echo of footsteps trailing behind her, filled with unfulfilled dreams. It struck her the laughter wasn't merely hers, it belonged to the ones who had been lost. Faces she couldn't escape, their expressions twisted in anguish. Shadows that had once been faraway ghosts now stood painfully close. Are you ready to confront your mistakes? The figure rumbled, its presence pressing down on her, suffocating yet encouraging, urging her to remember. Yes. Rita shouted, her voice trembling but firm. She took a step forward, and in that moment, the past erupted like a volcano, memories cascading around her, merging with the shadows. She tasted the bitterness of choices made and paths neglected, a flood of guilt rising to drown her. Suddenly, a bright light pierced the room, illuminating the faces of those lost souls. Rita gasped, recognizing each one a childhood friend, a mentor, a stranger she had dismissed, each person a thread in the web of her past. I am so sorry. She cried, tears streaming down her face. I never meant to hurt you. Please, forgive me. As the words left her lips, the light grew stronger, reflecting off the shards of the broken mirror scattered at her feet, transforming the chaos into clarity. Around her, the figures softened, their pain met by her vulnerability. The air felt lighter. Whispers of forgiveness floated like feathers, brushing against her skin, but the figure erupted in fury, shadows swirling violently. This isn't enough. You must confront the heart of your darkness. Rita's gaze tightened. Then guide me. In a blink, the room transformed into a darkened corridor, the air charged with the essence of unresolved pain. Rita felt her throat tighten, the dread creeping back as shadows loomed above her, whispering secrets, their voices indistinct yet urgently familiar, her own ghosts. Face your greatest fears, Rita. The figure commanded, its voice echoing through the now warped hallway. She felt the shadows latch onto her. The air thickened, fear scraped against her throat and clawed at her heart. Not again, she whispered, a lump growing as she struggled against the rising tide, but as she stood firm, her heart ignited with a flicker of hope. I will not go back. In the distance, a light shimmered, revealing a door. What lay beyond that threshold? The answer could free her soul or seal her fate. Would Rita have the strength to face her buried truths, or would the shadows drag her back into the abyss? Rita's heart raced as she approached the shimmering door. It glowed with a warmth that contrasted sharply with the cold, oppressive corridor around her. She could almost feel the pull of the light, urging her forward, a siren call of clarity. Mia stood beside her, fear and determination mirrored in her eyes. Are you ready? Mia whispered, gripping Rita's arm tightly. You know I am. Rita took a shaky breath. It's time to confront all of this to confront me. The shadows around them twisted and writhed as if reacting to her words, but Rita held her ground. She faced the door, steadying herself for whatever lay beyond. With a gentle yet determined push, she swung it open. Inside was an expansive room, bathed in a soft, golden light. It felt powerful and inviting, but she sensed the weight of the shadows lurking at the edges, ready to pounce if she faltered. The floor was covered in deep maroon carpet, damp with dew from the lost souls that had tread this path before her. Each step felt heavy, as though she were walking on memories. At the center of the room stood a large mirror, more magnificent than any she had ever seen. Its surface shimmered like a pool of calm water, but as she approached, images began to ripple across it, showing her the choices she had made, some glittering with promise, others darkened with despair. "Look into the mirror, Rita," the cloaked figure's voice echoed, now familiar yet haunting. "What do you see?" "Your past. Your regrets." Rita leaned in, her breath hitching. In the reflections, she saw herself as a child, laughing and full of dreams. Then the shadows came. The faces of people she had wronged flickered by, twisted by pain. Friends she had let down, moments she had failed to seize, paths avoided. The weight of the anguish felt suffocating. I see them," Rita gasped, tears stinging her eyes. "Good," the figure instructed, its voice now eerily calm. "Embrace the sorrow and the joy. They are part of you. You cannot run from what you have caused." The room shifted slightly, morphing the reflections into something sharper. "You have the power to help them find peace. Will you?" "Yes, I want to help," Rita whispered. "I want to make things right." The mirror sparkled, and the figures of the lost souls blinked to life. Each of them looked directly at her, their eyes filled with anguish and hope. Rita took a step forward, remembering their names, their stories. "I'm so sorry for what I did. Please forgive me. I will help you find peace." As she spoke, the mirror glowed brighter, the energy in the room swelling with each word. The shadows shrank back, feeding off her fear but also giving way to a courage she had never felt before. The figures in the mirror finally began to materialize, their faces softening with relief. "Rita," a familiar voice called out, and she looked closer to see her childhood friend Sarah, her smile radiant even amidst the sorrow of the past. "Thank you for finally seeing us." Their spirits danced in the light, spinning with joy as the shadows retreated further, almost fleeing from the brilliance of their collective release. The air was filled with laughter, and the weight that had pressed on Rita's chest began to lift. Mia gasped. "It's working. You're helping them." Rita nodded, her resolve strengthening. "I'm ready to face whatever comes next. Let us bring them home." With a surge of newfound energy, she reached into the mirror, fingers brushing against the surface, allowing the heat of connection to wash over her. "Step into the light," she commanded, her voice now strong and unwavering. One by one, the spirits emerged, freed from their bonds. They surrounded her with warmth, each grateful smile lighting the way. The shadows screeched, twisting into forms of desperation, but they could not touch the light of acceptance and love. As the spirits ascended, a golden path opened within the mirror, leading back towards the threshold of the hotel. The clamor of chaos faded, replaced by a symphony of joy. With Mia standing resolutely by her side, Rita made her way towards the doorway, the spirits behind her, pouring their gratitude into her heart. "You did it!" Mia exclaimed, her eyes shining with tears. Together, Rita replied softly, aware that their bond was the anchor they both needed. They stepped into the corridor, and with one last glance back, Rita whispered, "I won't forget you. You'll live on in my heart." As they passed through the doors of the Evergreen Hotel, the weight of its past began to lift. The hotel, once full of darkness, now vibrated with the laughter of reunited spirits and the warmth of the living. Rita inhaled deeply, the chill in the air replaced by the hopeful embrace of a new dawn. Her battle had been won, but she knew her journey of healing wouldn't end here. "We did it," she breathed, looking at Mia. Now, let South make sure this place keeps its stories alive, not trapped, Mia vowed, determination threading through her voice. They turned together to face the world ahead, leaving behind the shadows of the Evergreen Hotel, ready to embrace the light of their new beginning. Rita realized that every step they took forward was not just for themselves but for all the lost souls who had come before them, ensuring that their memories would never be forgotten. You need to subscribe now to the channel, so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Your support is vital. Smash that like button to fuel the algorithm. Flood the comments with your reactions and predictions about this epic conclusion. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see how this story wraps up. This is the moment to show your support.